Building a successful blog mostly depends on one critical skill, and that is writing. Writing the right content to succeed both with search engines as well as with your readers. Now, if you haven't watched it yet, I encourage you now to go watch this YouTube video over here. I'll link to it up there. This is a video that shows you exactly how we structure articles such that we're able to research and write them very quickly and that they perform very well in Google search. Here, we're gonna focus on building on that structure to maximize the earnings of the content that we write. Real quick, I gotta tell you, we've got an exciting contest coming up here on Income School that you can participate in. I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. So without any further ado, let's get started on what you actually came here for. I'm gonna bring in my pal Nathan. So let me grab him real quick, and then we're gonna dive right into how to make you more money on your blog. Okay, now we've got Nathan here, so we're actually ready to get going.
Let's go.
Let's do this. The first thing that you need to know how to do to make the most money from your blog post is know how to pick the right topics. Now, there's a couple nuances to this one. The first one is what we're about to tell you does not need to apply to every single article on your site. What I am telling you though is that these types of topics for blog posts tend to earn much more money really across the spectrum of monetization methods. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. We want to pick topics that have commercial intent. By that, what it means is the person that's doing the search is likely going to end up buying something as a result of the results that they find.
Can I give a couple examples
give some
here?
examples.
Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go to a new site that we're working on. I think it only has 9 articles published right now.
This is like
brand new. It's turnupthepressure.com, which is actually one that we talked about
like a while
5
ago.
or 6, 7 months ago, and we finally just got our writers working on some of the content. I guess before I jump into the articles, I really think about this like a spectrum. There's really a spectrum of no buyer intent or very low buyer intent to high buyer intent. And I think the high buyer intent is very obvious, you know, your 10 best products or that sort of post. But I think that there are other types on the spectrum that could also have buyer intent. So how to pressure wash a house with bleach. I think this is low buyer intent.
Very low.
It's a kind of a how-to guide type post. They probably already have a pressure washer here. And so it's just something that's, I would get,
bleach costs me like $2.
you're gonna go to Walmart or
whatever.
whatever the local store is, you're probably not gonna buy that online. So low buyer intent. Second one here, how to drain oil from a pressure washer. Again, you probably already have the pressure washer. There is some buyer intent here for maybe a guide, some ebook or some sort of guide for pressure washers in general. I'd probably give this one, a 4 to a 5, maybe on the buyer intent scale. The third one here, are electric pressure washers any good? Now this one is something that's not super obvious, but I think that there is a good amount of buyer intent in this post.
If I'm researching types of pressure washers, then my intent is to buy one at some point, even if I'm not planning to buy one right now. So now we have at least some commercial intent.
I'd probably say 7, 8 here. There's still a lot of commercial intent. They're still looking for the product. I mean, this is going to help you, you know, with affiliate ads, everything, every type of, you know, purchasing intent. This is going to be there. And then the last one here, the 10 best small electric pressure washers you can buy. This is kind of your run-of-the-mill, very obvious type of post. And I think that out of all of these, there are ways that you can optimize each one of these posts to get the best amount of opportunity and options for someone who's going to buy a product.
Absolutely. As we look at commercial intent, it's actually going to do a lot of things for you. First of all, obviously, the higher the commercial intent, the easier it is to make an affiliate push. Are electric pressure washers any good? Well, that's an article where I can put in a solid recommendation. This is the pressure washer you should buy. This is actually going to help you with other monetization as well. A lot of these that have higher commercial intent would help with selling your own products if you're doing that sort of a business model. Some of them are going to help you with info products. Info products are kind of unique in that some of these more informational ones, like if I had an ebook just that was like electric pressure washer maintenance, like, okay, maybe I can sell that on this lower article, the how to drain oil from a pressure washer.
Yeah, some of these articles with what you would imagine first off to be lower buyer intent they might actually need something like that at
Right.
that point where they've already made the original purchase, but you can sell them a helpful information product that they're going to need to continue to use the product.
But the other place where this really helps you is also even in ads. We often think about ads as the site does well with ads or the site does poorly because of the niche that it's in. If I can get more traffic, I make more money. But if there's a lot of buyer intent in a particular article or in several articles throughout your website, those articles will actually perform better because advertisers want to get their ads in front of people who are buying stuff, even if it's not the same stuff.
This whole scale that we've been talking about,
Yeah.
kind of the buyer intent scale, I think it's really, really cool. Something that each one of you should do on your own sites, especially with your top 10 or 20 posts. Look at where they are on this scale, see how much buyer intent is, and optimize the ones with some of the optimizations we're about to talk about, and do that on your top posts.
I want to highlight one more case study. This was from a website that Jim and I built a few years ago, camperreport.com. That was a site that did so well with ads. But when you look at it, almost every article had some commercial intent. It was about campers, RVs. Every single article was basically figuring out what type of camper I should buy. And so when you consider that, you realize like, man, people that are reading these articles, they plan to spend a bunch of money on something. And so that was earning over $30 per 1,000 page views just every single month. It's just fantastic. Okay, so now that we've talked about topics with, high buyer intent and how those topics alone are just worth so much more, I want to walk you through how to write the type of blog post that makes it easy to particularly push affiliate sales. Now, obviously, this type of blog post is going to do just as well as any other for ads and other things too, even potentially for selling your own info product, but also does particularly well for affiliate. My dad was telling me about this one. It's funny because he's not doing the blogging thing, right? He knows like almost nothing about this. He's got this cabin out in the mountains. It's off the grid, right? It's got a well and it's got solar power. And he wanted to boost the solar power. So he wanted to add a second solar system. And he searched and searched and searched the web because he wanted to do it himself. And guess what? There was basically one website he found that gave him the info he wanted, and it was a site about solar stuff for RVs. How to wire a solar charge controller for a DIY camper electrical system. This guy, first of all, he's got a video that walks you through the whole thing. That alone is just super helpful. But then, it's a long article, so he's got a table of contents. Then he's got this parts and tools list. Every single one of these is an affiliate link. And it was really funny when my dad was explaining this to me. He's like, this guy, he gives me these diagrams, photos, it's so helpful. And then he even links to all the products. And then if somebody clicks on those links, he earns a commission for it. Like, yeah, Dad, I know about that. He was so intrigued by this and so helped by it that in the end, he clicks the links and buys the products. Look, he's got a quantity needed. I go click on the product, I get 5. I put all this in my cart, and holy cow, add that up plus maybe some of these tools maybe that I don't already have. And suddenly I've got a fairly sizable Amazon purchase that all earns a commission for this guy. But here's what makes the article so helpful. It's not the parts list, it's the rest of the article. He has specific instructions. He has photos of every single step. My dad was showing me, he'd printed out that he had wiring diagrams showing exactly what to connect, like the panels connect to this, which connect to this, which connect to this. It was laid out completely for him. The tip here is to walk the reader all the way through the buying decision. So if somebody came here looking for a how-to, this has buyer intent, obviously. If I'm looking for how to do a DIY solar panel system, it's DIY. I'm going to buy stuff and put it together. What he's done is walked through the entire process and done it in such a helpful way that in the end, I know exactly what products to buy. I'm highly likely to click on the links and make the purchase now. What happens with affiliate marketing is if somebody clicks on your link but doesn't make the purchase within the cookie window, you don't get a commission. And so getting somebody to make the purchase now is super helpful.
Can I say something really quick? This article, when you showed it to me, I've written so many affiliate-based articles. I can't even tell you how many. But this one specifically really hit me because not only was it so helpful, but he set it up in a way that it was just the perfect recipe for the buyer. Like Ricky said, he walks the buyer down the path to where it only makes sense for the buyer to click the affiliate links. I mean, generally speaking, when you look at an affiliate article, you go to the article and you get in there, you read about it, but then maybe you want to read 5 or 10 other things. But this one, he made it kind of like a guide. And then he put all of the ingredients to the recipe at the top and said, here are the links, it's all here. Everything you need to complete the project is right here for you. Just click the link and purchase it. Not that it's anything super special or super unique, but he made it so helpful and so easy that there's really no choice other than for the buyer to click the link.
There are a lot of times where we're writing a blog post that's maybe not really high buyer intent, where, yeah, we're going to include some affiliate links because, hey, there's some products on this topic that I'd recommend. But just know those aren't going to be really high converting links. It's better to have them than not. So that the point isn't to say, don't ever do that. The point is, when you have an opportunity where there's a high buyer intent topic, take the time, go the extra mile, and walk the reader all the way to the end of that buying decision. And if you do that, then if they bought into what you had to say, they're gonna click your link and you're gonna get the commission.
The last main thing that you really need to do to make sure that your content is optimized for monetization is just some things with the structure. There's a lot of kind of, I don't know, really cool things that you can do with the structure to make sure that you optimize for ads. That will just make the ad providers really happy. We're gonna look at an article here, which fruit rots the fastest. This is a great article. There's so many elements here that we've done to make it ready to be monetized in the best way possible. If you just look down the article a little bit, you're gonna see that the first thing is the paragraph sizes. The paragraph sizes, while on desktop, don't look that long. On mobile, you can see over here on the side, the mobile, it looks like it's covering the entire screen, which is just, first of all, not a great user experience.
Where do you put an ad?
Where do you put an ad in there? It's horrible for user experience, and the ad companies want to put an ad there, but unless there's a break, they can't put an ad there. So I think the first thing we should do is cut some of these paragraphs up. You can see an example here under how long fruit lasts at room temperature. We've broken up, that was originally one large paragraph.
Right.
And we broke it up into what, 5 or 6 small paragraphs.
This isn't English class, right? You don't have these super long paragraphs to prove one point.
Yeah.
Here it's like, oh, we jumped to a different fruit. Cool, new paragraph.
Yep, and that's totally okay. All right, something else you may or may not have even noticed is we scrolled past a paragraph where we enlarged the text size. This is something that is awesome to make your post a little bit longer, because the longer your post is, the more opportunities, first of all, that the advertiser is going to have to place more ads without showering your whole post with ads, because your post is longer. And there's usually a little sticky ad at the footer at the bottom of the page that if the user is having to continuously scroll, that's going to show longer for them, and then you're going to just naturally have more ad revenue from that.
If you're using too small of a font on your site, it's a bad experience, particularly for disabled users who are visually impaired at all. You read this here, it's not that huge.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Even on a mobile device, it's going to look good.
So continuing through this post, other elements in the post are going to help it be longer, like images. You can see this post has lots of images. There's tables. We have a pull-out quote here that just makes the post look nice for a general user experience, but it also makes it longer. It again breaks up the post, giving the advertisers more opportunities to add a few advertisements.
If you're using the Gutenberg page builder, basically every time you create a new block is another opportunity for an ad. We're not going to place ads in between each and every block, but we need to have those opportunities so that we can display those ads. This is kind of a cool one because structuring the blog post, this is something that can be done on high commercial intent and low commercial intent. The cool thing though is with content that is high buyer, high commercial intent, if we do that and this, not only will we show more ads, but we'll also get paid more for each and every one of those because of that higher buyer intent.
Double optimization. It's pretty cool. Something else you probably notice here on the side of the post is that our whole sidebar is free. There's not a lot of things messing up the sidebar.
A couple things at the top.
So that a sidebar sticky ad can be there as the user is scrolling down the post. Again, another great spot for an ad that could be worth a lot.
Absolutely. There are additional ways to boost the monetization on your site. This isn't a full masterclass in monetization at all, but we will be putting out more videos in the future about, for example, how to write the perfect blog post for a product review. It's going to be a different type of post than what you see here in the more informational content. So stay tuned for those videos. They're definitely coming in the future. Now, I also promised at the beginning that I would tell you about a little contest we're running on the Income School channel. If you've been around a while, you may be aware that we did this in the past. Comment below, share a comment, preferably a substantive comment. And every single comment is going to enter you into a drawing. At the end of the year, we will select one commenter at random who will have the opportunity to work with us on their website. No purchase necessary. Go to incomeschool.com/comment contest, and you're going to be able to see all the details there, all the legal stuff, but also figure out exactly what that entails. To all of you who are current members of Project 24, make sure if you haven't yet to go check out the new lessons we added to the blogging course this year that are about the different types of blog posts, all the different structures, when and how to use them. It's a game changer. Not every blog post is the same. There's no one perfect blog post recipe. There's a good starter, but then there's kind of some different ways to go about it. So make sure you go check that out. And for everybody else, we'll see you next time.